Good morning.
Good morning out
Good
there.
morning. Happy Sunday to Brother Blue. Hello, Brother Blue.
Good
You
to see you,
are
Brother
the
Blue.
first one here.
Brother,
Wow, I'm glad to see you, the early bird today.
Brother Joe.
And here comes Mr. Joe, second runner up.
Dr. Joe
Glad
Jr.
you guys came in. Y'all must be hungry birds today. Y'all hungry birds. And here comes Jill. Hey, sweetheart. And Dee Dee and George just popped in. Hello, guys. And then there's Sandra. Hey, Sandra. I'm glad y'all are in here today. Y'all come on in the house. Come on in the house. There used to be a song called Come On in the House.
Come on in the house.
That ain't it. No.
Come on in the house.
You make every song sound like that.
Well, come on in the house. Ain't nothing, I don't know nothing.
It's come on in where the something.
Okay.
Feast is going. Something like that.
Yeah,
and
I
the
heard that
feast
one.
of the Lord is going on.
Yeah,
You remember? Yeah,
yeah.
okay. That's Apostle Norman. I think he's still in Virginia.
Okay.
He and his lovely wife. Glad you guys are in with us today. And here comes Laverne, Vern,
Buzz,
and
Green.
Buzz. Hey, CJ.
And,
Hope things are going okay for you, young man. Been thinking about you and praying with you. Diaquilin, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you this morning.
Yeah. Phyllis and Edward are in the house.
Phyllis and Edward.
Phyllis and Edward just came in the house.
There's the Pearson.
Bro Joe said, come on in the room.
Come on in the room. It's in the. We got one more on the house too, Brother Joe.
Good morning, Tanita. Tell your mama I said hello.
Yeah, Lady Gwen. All you guys out there.
John, I'm glad you're in, Mr. Greason. Yeah, and baby girl's over here flapping her tail, wanting a treat already. Good morning to you all. Good morning, Pearl. Glad you're here. Yeah, glad you're here.
Okay,
Morgan. Yeah, and Jill's remind me where the table is spread in the feast of the Lord.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I might have to get Little Vince or Big Vince to do me a song about that. Let that be our theme, huh?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Hey, sweetie, how are you? Hope Mama's doing well and Essence is doing well. And all you guys are doing okay down there. Hey, Sister Evelyn. Hadn't seen you on here with us in a while. Glad you're here, sweetheart.
Evelyn Hicks? Is that the one we know?
Huh?
The one that when we was in the that's Miss Hicks.
That's
Greensboro.
Miss Evelyn. Yeah.
Miss Evelyn Greensboro?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, knock me down and call me shorty.
Good morning, Morgan. I'm glad you're in here, darling. Glad you came to see us today. And then there's Tanita. Oh, your mom is in Africa.
Oh Lord.
Doing a conference. Oh my gosh. Isn't that something?
That's something there.
Wow.
That's some kind of deal there.
Yeah. Jill says Vince is playing down. That's Big Vince playing downtown in Winston on Friday. I think we saw that, didn't we?
You said something about it.
Yeah, I think we did.
Friday. What time I want to?
I don't know. Maybe she can tell you. And there's Sadie. Hey, Sadie. I'm glad you're here, darling. Glad you're here. Anyway,
all of you guys,
I'm glad
you sound great.
Came in today.
Your sound is loud in silence, but it's still making noise with your writing, your printing, and your presence.
Jill said it's at 6:30.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it is so good to know you guys out there.
It is good.
I feel like I got a whole church full of folks out there, even in the invisible brick and mortar. You're still with us.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't say anything. They don't always say anything. Yeah. I didn't see my sister and my brother-in-law. Where are they?
They must have went to the cast bar.
Oh my goodness.
They
usually are in here every time.
They must have a hangover from last night or something. They may have to have a talk with them young jitterbugs.
Yes, we will. But anyway, I'm glad you're here with us today. Excited about what we're going to have to share with you. I'm not sure what we're sharing, but we're going to be able to share some things with you and you share with us.
I'm going to read something to you out of one of my notes and see whether that'll trigger a little bit in you, okay?
You want to do that now?
Yeah, I'm going to do it now.
Go ahead.
All right, here it is. The mind of God or the mind of Christ is free of all duality, separation, and individuality. At the same time, we may be in our minds and our feeling full of a lot of noise
That's a long
and a
sentence.
lot of transitions
Now,
taking place.
This sentence is getting longer and longer.
Okay.
I want
The
you
mind
to
of
okay,
God.
hold on. I'm gonna just acknowledge a couple people, and then you go into it a little slower.
Okay.
Now, sister and brother Laura here. Hey, y'all. We wonder where you're at. And then there's Laura. Hey, sweetie, I'm glad you're here today. All right, now you can go.
All right.
But don't make the sentence so long.
The mind of God is free of all duality.
Stop right there. The mind of God is free of all duality.
And there is no separation in it, even though it may sound like it to our ears, but to our spiritual identity, there is no separation in the voice of God or the mind of Christ.
Okay. Now you keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Now, I'm over and I'm looking for 1 Samuel 3. It has a 1 and 4. It's an incident that happened to Samuel. And I'm going to read some of it to you, okay?
All right.
The Lord called Samuel, and he answered, "Here am I." And he ran unto Eli, his father, and said, "Here am I, for thou callest me." And he said, "I call not. Lie down again," and went and lay down. Go lay down, he said.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord called yet, he said, the Lord called yet again Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, "Here am I, for thou didst call me, or did you call me?" He answered, "I call you not. My son, go lay down." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to his father and said, "Here am I, for thou did call me. Did you call me?" And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, "Go lay down, and it shall be, if he call you again," which is a little bit different from what the book say, "that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant hear."
Mm-hmm.
And so Samuel went and laid down in his place, and the Lord called and stood. The Lord came and stood and called as at the other times. And Samuel, he said, is what was called. Then Samuel answered, "Speak, for thy servant hear." Now in the 20th verse, it said this: "And all Israel from Dan even through Beersheba knew that Samuel was established." And the word "established" means is the same in the New Testament. What was said, they wondered at the mighty works that Jesus did. What might was in him, and the definition of might is when he sets out to do something, it is established in him that he has no failure. There's no failure or lack or slack or get back jack in his voice.
Or he knows that he has whatever he needs on board.
It's been settled.
Okay.
And listen to and Samuel, it was established to be a prophet of the Lord.
Okay.
Now I'm not saying that about positionality. Okay. I'm saying that to you guys to let you know that one of the main things that has to take place in you personally, I don't know how long it'll take, when it'll take. It may have a lot to do with your evolution in many lifetimes. Same, different soup, same juice. Mm-hmm. So don't get this reincarnation or evolution mixed up with being dogs, cats, and animals and all that. You're not ready to hear the full impact of that yet, because some of you may have been bewitched by the old guys or the old crows or whatever it is that says, "Am I a tree? Am I a cow?" or all that. We'll leave that alone. But my point is that this voice that came to Samuel sound like his father was talking to him. Mm-hmm. Now, when you become more endowed and enlightened with the awareness of your true identity, the stronger you'll be. And I know some people are just gifted like that, but you'll basically be strong enough to recognize the voice of your true self speaking through you or to somebody else around you through sounds, even on ships when there are certain things has to take place. They use sound of bells and whistles and horns to indicate a change in time or position on the ship. And my investigation is this, that when I'm in my Jeep, I have two sounding horns. I can make a sound with my train horn and it sound different, and with the Jeep horn it sound different. My point again is that Samuel heard the voice of God, but he couldn't recognize it. And what God was doing was training him to hear God speak. God, a lot of us seem to think that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth with his word. And we seem to think that with his word,
we think it's language.
We think it's the King James quotation.
Or just language.
Language.
Yes, sentences and words.
But what he's showing you here in what I read, God's voice sounds like Samuel's father. God's voice may sound like a bell ringing. Sometimes God's voice may seem like a ringing in your ear. Sometimes God's voice can be
a dog barking.
A dog barking, because we've heard that before and all kinds of ways. So I want you guys to be aware that if you are really hungry enough to get into this that we're speaking of, you must begin to investigate in your intuition and many various ways. And I did it over you, studying and investigating into the many ways God speaks.
So that tells me this, that
or sound,
that what mostly prevents us from being able to receive the communications of God is our own preconceived ideas and about how it ought to be. I'm recalling how it is. We have all these books in our house, and sometimes we'll have the inkling to read a particular one, and we have to go on a search here in the house to find it, because they're not in any library, no order particularly like a library. We just got them in these bookshelves, and so we remember what it looks like. And a lot of times our memory fails us because we think it looks a certain way. And by the time we find it, we realize that we've overlooked it so many times because we had a preconceived idea of what it looked like. So what you're saying is, because we have that preconceived idea of how God communicates, the way it ought to come, the way it ought to be, we miss it a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when we do receive that communication and it's clear to us, we are then established. Is that the point you're trying to make?
The voice of God, the original voice of God, is your true sound. Now listen to this.
Okay,
I want you guys to hear this.
I got you.
My insight into this that we're speaking of reveals to me that each one of us, before coming into this story world, whatever you want to call it,
dream,
illusion, or earth, this earthbound world,
this earth school.
Now this is real. The tuning fork for sound vibration starts in your eustachian's tube, your middle ear, down through your solar plex, down through the back of the spine. That area of the spine is representative to me as a fuel injections versus a carburetor on a motor that has gas lines connected to it from the gas tank. And in that area, there's a pump. It is called the gas pump, and it pushes pressure through those pipes to feed up to those jets in the engine that sprays fuel into the cylinders. And when it hits those cylinders, the spark in your engine or the spark plug when it comes up, it strikes like a match. The battery in your car is for more than just running lights and the horn. It is the firing part of the firing system that spikes those points that ignite fire, and that fire is in your engine, is coming from the fumes from the gas. I'm breaking this down like this to you to make a point. The actual voice of God, the real sounding of God, would be like the fumes that is used in an engine, Chevrolet car, whatever it is, motor. Mm-hmm. The fumes is the vibrational frequencies likened unto our voice inside of us. The voice of God is there as a vibrational frequency, and what he does is training you like he did Samuel with Eli. He's training each one of us to automatically, instantly hear the voice of God. So a lot of you guys think, a lot of us been taught that the voice of God is all these scriptures that we read on paper.
Or words and sentences.
The words and sentences.
Phrases. And again, go back to you said vibration.
Yeah.
Even when we speak, we are able to speak because of vocal cords that vibrate and air that comes through those cords that vibrate. So when God spoke, if the narrative is correct, that God spoke everything into existence, it simply vibrated.
That's right. So what I'm saying, when you get to the place where you are dogmatic or dogmatism comes into your mind, that what God used to speak the worlds into existence and talking to you is coming from ink, paper, and writings. Concepts. You're going off the deep end with this thing. I'm not saying it can't, but I'm going to give you the basics. All right. When this is recognized as you develop, you'll pull away from a lot of things that you've been hearing about. The Lord spoke to me. He may speak in a dream. He may speak in a word. He may speak in a wind. He may speak in an earthquake. Exactly. But at any rate, the purification of God's voice is like the gas in the engine, or automobile engine. The fumes is what ignites the gas. The liquid itself don't do that. So what you get when you read the Bible, you're getting information from the fumes of the fragrance of the vibrational frequency from the book when you read it. And listen to this. The power of that fumes is inside of you. Yes. It's not on the paper. Yes. It's inside of you. But if it is on the paper, it will represent energy, and energy cannot ever be destroyed.
But also, God speaks through situations.
Yes. But it's the frequency of that situation.
The frequency and the vibration of that situation.
Yeah.
And the hidden messages in that situation.
Here's another way God speaks. This is a strange one here, but it's good. You eat food. The food actually itself as a substance does not nourish your body. What nourishes your body is the energy or the vibration inside. Medication the same way. It's the fuel that comes from the fumes. That's why the body digests it, and the waste is released from your body in another direction, because the food actually itself carries with it the biological energy, like the fumes that ignites the engine in your car.
Yes. I remember there's a scripture where, and I don't recall the exact scripture verbatim, but it said that when Jesus spoke, it was during the time when a lot of the disciples left Jesus because of the hard sayings that he was putting out. And he asked them, he said, "Are you going to leave me too?" And they said, "No, because you have the words of life."
Yep.
So they were saying that in your words, we're receiving energy from
the vibrations of the energy
from your life, from your words. And it's energizing us.
That's right.
It's feeding us. It's not just feeding us in the sense of making me full, but feeding me, giving me the energy that I need, giving me the whatever I need, the download that I need to continue in this life.
All right, here's another one. In my investigation, you heard me say something about it a lot. In my investigation into diesel train engines, railroad, I found out that in order for and this is going reference to union with Christ and removing duality, okay? An engine represents the main center or the core of the essence of the train. They can have 10, 12, or 13 or 14 engines, but they are all as the same essence. Like the essence of our eternal self is the engine that controls and keeps us going here. Okay. Yeah. When that engineer hooks that engine up, 4 or 5 engines up, each one of those engines does not have to have a person inside of them. They are controlled by one engine through a remote control. Mm-hmm. Your remote control links in with your pure heart essence in terms of God. So what God did, he fixed us as the engine along with him through this example. When the engine hooks up with those couplers are not hooked up as thin mechanism. They're hooked up as wide blocks.
They're hooked up just like you grab hands.
Yeah, just like you grab hands.
Just like you grab a block. Like this.
But if you notice, my hand is wide on both sides. And if I hook like this with one finger, just hook one finger like that, that's going to make the train wobble and lose its balance on the track. But when you hook the whole square block of it together, it brings stability. Now here's another one. Yes. Each one of those cars have a line that runs all the way through to 100, 200 or 300 cars, and that line is connected to the wheels and the brakes and everything in that engine and that train. And he uses air, fumes, oxygen, energy in the oxygen tank or the air tanks. Each one of those trains or engines had to be injected with the air all the way through to the last one. Now, what I'm saying is this thing operates off of synchronicity and oneness. When that engineer stopped that train, the whole train is not 50 cars or 100. It is one car, and that one car is manifested through one unit through the airlines. Yes. That's the way God fixed all of us. But once somebody get on the train that don't understand this, which the engineer has to know, because if he don't, one of those cars lose air. If he's just interested in his engine running, and no cars lose air and lose contact, it will wreck the train.
So you're talking about, and this has so much in it.
Yeah, it does.
The autonomy that we experience as human beings, being a person, makes us feel as if we're separate. However, we are still coupled.
Yeah.
And linked, interconnected, so much so that if we realize that and maintain that with our essence, we will all flow as one unit.
Right. Here's another.
And that one unit is what God is.
Right. Now here's another one. What would be sin on a 200 boxcar train with the engine? What would be sin if 4 or 5 of those cars hooked up to that engine will send a signal through the instruments on it that's been a disconnect. The disconnected from those 4 or 5 cars would be sin, and it would be failure, and it would be hell, and it would be torment. You name anything in the area of separation. Those cars that loses that air loses contact with the unit,
and then they put everyone at threat, in danger.
If he is a good engineer, he knows his train, and from one engine he has extended his spider sense, or his consciousness has expanded from the front of that engine, that lever inside, all the way back to the last 200 or 300 engine, and he will immediately bring that thing to a stop. But listen to this. He cannot stop it all at once, because if he do, those 3 or 4 cars that are disconnected from the air will cause a derailment
of all the
That's
others.
the fall of all of us.
Mhm.
That's the misplaced identity, which means those cars that don't have the balanced air in them are now become an enemy to the whole train.
But you also explained
Mhm.
how just one car staying connected
Mhm.
affects the entire system. And so
One car disconnected.
and the same,
Mhm,
yes, vice
mhm.
versa. So that says to me, one little person,
Yeah.
one human
Yeah.
being coming to the place of being awakened and
Mhm.
fully realized
Mhm.
of who they are affects the whole.
That's right.
And
Mhm.
I'm glad you said that, because I was in my contemplation last night. I've had this thing, and we kind of talked about it a little bit last night. Of why am I still in this earth suit?
Mhm.
Why am I
Mhm.
here?
Mhm.
Why am I here? And it has to do, of course, we talk about our age a lot, because we're at that phase where we're seeing a lot of people we have known in this earth are leaving, some even younger than us.
That's right.
And so
even as we speak now,
that horizon is right there looking at us. And so we're like, why am I still here and others have gone?
okay.
Why am I still wearing this bodysuit? What am I here for? And you're kind of answering that this morning.
I'm gonna answer another big one right now. Each one of those cars on that train, 200 or 300, whatever it is, each one of those cars are designed like the rest of each other. Okay, listen to this.
They're designed the same.
They are the insaneness.
Okay.
They all have brakes on them, so when he hits the brakes of the engine, all that brake pressure goes all the way through the 100, 200 cars. Now watch this. That engineer does not sit there in that train, in that engine, and I've been up in one with an engineer, trying to keep his mind on counting each one of those cars as he goes down the track.
Exactly.
The track that the wheels are rolling on don't even think about whether they got enough length in them or width in them or weight in them to keep the train on the track. They have entered into a fixed, complete oneness track, wheel, brakes, air, car. Engineer
into being one unit.
Right. Engineer not sitting up there trying to figure out, is the next car running right? It's not. It's been built and structured into the fabric of that engine and the engineer. Engineer is the one, that little bitty man, tall or fat or short, in that engine. He is the actual transfer of awareness that is so settled in that engine that it is so cool that he operates the whole thing to a lever, and he is aware from the engine all the way back to the 200, 300th car that he and that train are one and the same.
Yes. And Oliver says, yes, we are a fixed creation.
Okay.
And it takes only one, because there is only one.
That's right.
Yes. And that's such a good analogy. I
can go on with you with this because this is the way things work. Now, I'm back there on my saw. I'm making something, and right, I'll be quick with this one.
Okay.
And when I'm cutting a piece of wood, I notice when I draw a line on the wood, I have to make a decision. Am I going to cut on the left side of the line and still erase the line, or the right side of the line and still erase it? I make the choice. But my choice is actually to cut on that line, so actually identifying with it, that when I put that piece of wood back together to what I want, it matches up. We are, listen to this, whether it is wood, metal, steel, aluminum, rock, coal, dirt, we are the synchronicity of God. Like this. If we cuss, we're in synchronicity. If we feel bad, we're in synchronicity. Our synchronicity does not depend on attitudes and feeling. It is established in the engine itself, and the engineer. The train could have wheels on it that make noise, and you probably heard them going down the track. They'll be rolling, going bunk, 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 bunk. That's because somewhere down the line, the engineer put the brakes on, one wheel slid and never came unlocked, and it wore a flat place in it. The thing of this world is like this. The distractions of the ego and everyday life and the test that we have here in this dimension and in a dimension is like a flat place on the wheel. Those flat places on a wheel is not supposed to stop that train. If they are bad enough to stop the train, then it's time for that wheel to be changed.
Now, the flat place can't even be worn there unless it's a condition.
It's something has to be wrong.
It's a condition, a repeated scenario.
Something is out of whack.
That has caused that wheel
That's right.
to go through that
It's
same
out of balance.
thing over and over and over again until it's worn a groove.
And in order for that car to be fixed, they'll have to disconnect it. Move it to the side or leave it in a spot, jack it up, pull the whole 2-wheel or 6-wheel truck out from under wheels, they call them, and put a brand new set under there. This is all the miraculous work.
It won't continue until that one
it will not.
Is healed.
It will throw everything. Now he can get permission from the company to remove that car or put another one back in place. We don't want that, church, God, people, union, oneness people. We don't want that. We want what God put in there to fulfill its destiny. And once you lock into that oneness, that's it. Now watch this. Those cars and those engineers and those brakemen on the track do not see cold weather, hot weather, rainy weather, or snowy weather. Meaning this, nothing in the natural realm of the nature around it distracts it enough to where they cannot perform their duties.
Well, that's what Jill's mentioning. She said her brother-in-law is a trained engineer.
Okay, I like to meet him.
He talks about how he cannot be distracted.
I like to meet him.
And has to be careful of his momentum.
That's right. That's right.
And that, I think that is the determination that we have to have.
Yeah.
Is that we have to have the determination to not be distracted.
Here's another one. I have been around the engines and studied them well. And in them, I seen where there was a 6-engine hookup. And I keep wondering why when I look at the smokestack, all 5 of them are blowing smoke out, but there's one maybe in the middle that's no smoke at all. And I used to wonder what was going on with that engine. Mm-hmm. It does not have any power. It is rolling on wheels that's still synchronized with the rest of the wheel, but it does not pull or push. It is a lugger or it is riding alone, and it's on its way either. Basically, what I understand, when an engine go out, watch this, and I'm bringing you into crucifixion, death, burial, and resurrection. When that engine go out, they take it to the scrap pile and crucify it, or use it to melt down for steel to make other engine parts.
So it still remains a part of it, even though
it's a different form, but it cannot serve the purpose of oneness as the rest of the cars with the engine, because it decided, or you say like this, we decided to disconnect through a distraction. But remember this, even if that metal is melted down, the essence of that car, even though it's melted down, the essence of that car is still a train.
Still the same.
A car.
It's still the same. The essence never changes.
Never changes.
It never changes.
What you were sent here for, in essence. So your essence is the way you determine your destiny. Your essence.
It is what determines.
It is what determines your destiny. It determines your work.
Well, it
determines all the functions on this side and the other side, and in everybody else.
Yeah, I mean,
purpose.
We came to this last night in our conversation together, that we have this idea that we have a life.
Mm-hmm.
This is my life. we don't really have a life.
No, I said no such
This
thing.
this is really God's life,
Mhm.
and all we can do is allow it to be dedicated for whatever is God wants to experience.
Mhm. Another thing in engineering, if a train has 4 or 5 or 6 engines and 200 or 300 cars, it may have a helper,
Mm. Mm.
and your helper is symbolized in the scriptures as the Holy Spirit. He's your a helper, but you have to remember anything that helps that train out is got to match up with this original essence. You don't take an engine out and put a truck in there. You don't take the engine out and put a bicycle in there. It has to be of the same quality essence of to match up with the rest of the engines. Glory be to God. I feel this thing bubbling. Now, I want you to understand that this that I've been into for years, I've studied it, and right now, by insight and revelation, is being used by my tones and voice to describe to you exactly what's going on with us online today and exactly what is going on with our connections. I have known and found out that our engine can be so strong when a group of them, that it can actually break the coupler loose from one of those cars. When that happens, a lot of time the engineer won't even recognize it unless he look at his instrumental board on the engine.
Mhm.
That instrument board will tell him by the air system it's been reduced. If that air system is reduced, there's an emergency.
And you done
Now,
gone into your
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
analytics
I'm
now.
showing you how
Yeah,
it works
yeah.
in the United States, all over in every country. Whenever anybody finds out the revelation of union of no duality, that's an indication that the train is hooked up. But when somebody is walking out of duality, an individual who's in duality and loses that contact, that train has to come to a stop. If it don't, it will make a mess.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in different words, and
Okay.
I understand exactly what you're saying. What you're saying is, we as a species,
Yes,
we are evolving as a species, and when the more of us that are awake,
mm-hmm.
the faster our evolution.
That's right.
When there are those of us who are not yet awake, or who don't know
Mm-hmm.
they are awake and they're still walking in their dream state, they tend to slow the progression of the
Yes.
evolution.
Yes.
So that's why it's very, very important for
Mhm.
all of us to stay in that knowing.
That's right. Now listen to this. The engineer was picked. The engines was picked based on the load capacity. Each one of those parts on that train, 200 cars, if they do not continue to abide in the engine,
There you go.
as the engine abide in them,
There you go.
they will come to a stop.
Mhm.
And the stop is an indication that somebody has moved out of the glory of God.
Now, that's the same analogy that Jesus used in his parable about abiding, the vine
That's
and
right.
the husbandman.
That's right.
I'm going to find it while you talk. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. All have sinned and come short of the glory. What that means is this: to get into this world, everybody has to experience the illusion of what it is like as a boxcar on a long train to be disconnected or lose
An individual. Mm-hmm.
So all have sinned, meaning everybody comes into this dimension
Believing
with the illusion
yes.
that they are separated from God. And another illusion is I need to get saved to get back to God. And the other illusion is I ain't ready. I am still in the streets. I'm that.
Yeah. And
okay, go ahead.
Believing that they're an individuation.
That is the fall.
And other than
yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
and that's where all of
Yes.
these opposites come
Yes.
from,
Yes.
opposers, all of that comes into
Yes.
play.
That's right.
Now in St. John 15, to give the analogy that Jesus used, you use the train.
Okay.
He used this analogy. He said,
Okay.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the
engine.
husbandman.
Yep. Yep.
Every branch in me that bears not fruit,
Yep.
he takes away.
Yep.
And every branch that bears fruit, he purges
Yeah,
it.
yep. I just had
So
that in
even if
mind.
you got a flat place, he just fixes it.
Yeah.
He heals it.
And a lot
He
of times,
fixes it.
they bring the repair crew to where the train is, jack up one side of it, and replace the wheel or the truck, and it's still back online. It ain't lost nothing.
Yeah. So it purges it that it may bring forth more fruit. And you are and
that's good.
And listen to this. And you are clean through the word, the vibration, which I have spoken to you.
What cleans up the train is the fact that no one gets desperate or panic or feel like just because one wheel went flat that the train is no more good.
Exactly. Or that car is no more good.
The car, and listen to this, if that car has got something in it that is very important to be delivered to a customer as far as material substance, they do not move that substance out of that car, essence out of that car, over 115,000 million mistakes of the illusion of separation. My God Almighty, this thing is not going to hinder that train because they done found out how to keep that car in there, fix the doggone thing, and hook it back up and finish the journey.
This also says,
my God.
And Alona says, now this is a good and simple enough for all of them to understand, but this is also a good example of how important every aspect
what you talking
of the
about?
train is.
Yes.
How important every one of you is to all of the others.
Yes.
You are very, very important.
Now that all of that fixed creation, I'm going to touch on that because that's fixed creation. Eventually, God is going to reveal from the engine and the engineer. See, a lot of times you have to remember that engineer goes to a certain point and he'll switch over to another engineer. This is what the you might say the sages are.
That's good. And knowing how far they can take that.
See, each engineer is, say, from here to the next state. He's not allowed to spend so many hours in that engine. Then another comes on shift, online, and he feels it, and it goes all the way down the track.
So that tells me this: not one guru, not one spiritual teacher can speak to every person.
Glory be to God.
And wake them up and help them move
But
forward.
You have to understand, the cars do not fight against the changing of engineers. All it does
go with the flow.
Is flow and abide.
Go with the flow and stay on track.
He that abides in me, I abide in him. He that abides in me, as I abide in him, and he decides to no longer abide in me, will be dealt with and checked with, not by judgment, but by repair.
Yes, and that's what I always say, that God is not a punisher.
That's right.
But a corrector.
That's right.
So we often think that when we get out of line, and in our human thinking, we've sinned or we've done something, we think God is out to punish. A lot of us have been taught that over the years through religious teachings, and we've come to an understanding that God is not out to punish any of us, but to correct us.
Each one of those cars on that 200-car train is symbolized as individuality, ego. But the engineer has to, now watch this, here it is. The engineer has to die. If he's going to drive that train, he has to be aware of individual cars, but he has to function from the ideal, the fact that they are one unit.
Yeah. You can't ever forget that.
And that one unit, you know what? And a good example, I was down on the beach and back in our early 20s or 30s, I purchased a Jeep, another one. And in that Jeep, we rode down to the coastline, to the ocean. And while we were down there, we were on our way back home. A pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, got stuck on a sand dune, and they couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
And I had really never experienced using a Jeep to pull another vehicle off of a stuck place.
But you were excited to
I was excited to see what it could do. So what I had to do, synchronicity, I had to hook up the 4-wheel drive. During that time, at CJ7, you got mechanism on the wheel where you can turn it and lock the front wheel in. I locked it in. I backed up to the truck. When I backed up, the rope, whether we had to pull that truck off the hill, if I had made it too long, I found out through a law that if I was at a distance from that truck, I couldn't get it to move. It would even
too much
distance between me and the hookup.
Too much distance between me and the other.
I tried to pull it off. It didn't do it. So I got closer. I got so close to that pickup truck that I identified with every wheel and position and situation.
And listen, what you did was you collapsed the separation.
I crucified separation.
Oh, that's so good.
I crucified separation with that truck, got right up on the bumper, hooked it up. And when I moved, my God Almighty, it had to move. But if I was too far away from it, I would be saying, I don't want to have anything to do with you right now because you might require something of me that I'm not ready to expect or ready to take.
Not only that, but being that having the distance between you put more tension on your Jeep. And more, it was harder for your Jeep to do what it needed to do.
I had to be willing to give up.
The separation had to collapse.
Right.
The gap had to be removed.
And my choice. But I had to know something. Watch this. I had to know something about oneness and union.
So God can't pull us out of the ditch because we got too much gap consciousness.
Every time he pulled us out, we in separation, we'll dig ourselves back in.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good to me. I don't know about you, but that's good to me.
Lord have mercy.
And you know, I have to say this, that what we're doing today is not really teaching you or preaching to you. This is the contemplation.
We'll collaborate.
This is the contemplation collaboration process. This is how we come to truth and discovery. You contemplate, you inquire, and you allow the picture panoramic picture to unfold.
We are doing, in our words, we are performing in our statements the story in manifested form.
We're actually in a train, at a train, looking at a train, moving with the train.
We are working here together.
Building a train.
Yes, we are a unit working together.
And
that's where all of us are on this in our class today.
Now we got some great comments.
Go ahead.
Oliver says we make errors and mistakes. They both can be and will be corrected. Yes.
That's the mistake. Exactly. Is that thing that separates it. It's the illusion of separation, but it is really still hooked to the train. That's why the prodigal son father told him that no matter how long he stayed out there in the world and the pigs and all that and come back home, I'm still your father.
Yes. And thank you, Sister Chris, for that. She says, thank you for this teaching. And Alona made me think of something. She said, our job is not to throw people away. And you know what I thought about? I remember that old song by the OJs, The Love Train.
Oh, yeah. Soul Train.
Yeah, the Love Train.
Well, the Love Train, but they were singing
not the Soul Train, the Love Train.
Well, Soul Train. Go ahead. Soul Train, Love Train.
Yeah. So this is the Love Train. And she said, our job is not to throw people away.
That's right.
Because they have made a mistake, but to help one another to get back on track that we can all flow together.
Oh, boy, that's something.
That's good. That's good.
But it you have to understand the school of union, the school.
Oh, that's good.
The school of understanding separation and non-duality versus duality. Now watch this. Now this is a bomb. All that we explained to you about the trains and the hookups and the balancing and the engine and all that words, they're words.
They're just concepts.
Watch this now. Here it is.
Higher concepts.
If you are going to move on in to the actual fullness of the Spirit, fullness of God, through awareness, you're going to have to be willing to let go of everything you've ever been taught.
Yeah.
In order for an engineer to get on a train and run 200 cars like we just described, he cannot get on that train and run that engine, 4, 5, 6 engines, with the memory or the information or the education he got from driving a tractor trailer or a pickup truck. He must.
So all accumulated knowledge must be laid aside.
It must die. And God being allowed to raise up another.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He cannot drive or control that engine with a steering wheel like in a car or a bus.
He can't drive it as though he was driving a car.
And he cannot, and notice this, the control mechanism of that train is the tracks, the direction of the tracks. That train go anywhere where that track will go.
So the direction is already predetermined.
Yep. He can only do one thing, choose to be one with the whole unit. If not, he's going to have a problem with that train. And they train him in school and on the job.
They train him to run a train.
To run the train as a unit oneness. Sweetheart, there's no way you are going to go to hell as a separated car and stay there if you decide, even in the choice of hell, you can decide to come out.
That's it. That's it.
Now, we've always been taught once you get there, you're stuck. God's got a remedy for that. And I'll tell you what that remedy was. We've been lied to. That once we get to hell, we can't get out. Let me let you in on something.
And many of us are in hell before we leave our bodies.
Something.
Yes.
You need to go back and check your lanes. In your lane, you're going to find out if you check it. He that ascended also descended. All right, here's another one. And when it says on the internet, those that was locked in the hell in their mind and psychological falsehood, he went down there and became the identity of every car connected to the engine. And he's telling hell in the dark world. Hell in the dark world did not create you. God, eternal essence, is in hell. And if you are there, he's going to bring you out. Yes, and when you're not going to get out as individuals, you're going to come out looking and being him.
You're always going to come out.
God,
you're going to always come out.
Whoa, I'm telling you the truth. This thing is right.
Because there's nothing that can keep you back.
Somebody says been wrong tonight, but I'm right today. I'm wrong today, but I'm right tonight. Yes. Either way you go, you cannot remain in hell because God gave you a sign. And the sign is, you hear people talk about if he committed suicide, he's going to go to hell and can't come out. If God got thousands of them out back 2022 years ago through Jesus Christ, he still getting us out of hell today as we speak to you. Hell will not, separation will not override. It will not overtake us.
She said the gates of hell will not prevail.
What?
They will not
Talk
prevail.
to me, girl.
Talk to me. In other words, they will not win over.
It will not overlord itself over anybody in hell. If you got a front door, back door in hell in your situation, God is the key for you to get out. And where is he? He's more than inside of us. He is the essence of every last one of us. You ain't gonna stay there in hell.
But don't keep your mind on God getting you out. Keep your mind on the flow that you're in, and that everything is already in order and preordained. All you got to do is stay in the flow.
Tell hell to go to hell. And if hell go to hell, you can tell the hell that's in hell, it ain't going to remain there. Because eventually hell going to be wiped out.
Yes. Because hell is of our own making.
Hey, when I look at what Jesus did in our union with him, and he went to hell and David said, if I make my bed in hell, he's there. What's going to eventually happen?
He said, if I make my bed in hell.
Yes.
Which was his choice.
Yes. Look out now. Something is cooking on the stove. There's a cake in there baking. And we're going to go in there and cut a slice of that thing and find out that everybody going to taste it at the same time.
Yeah. So don't make your bed in hell.
No, don't do that.
Don't make an anniversary of your pain.
I got me some asbestos underwear. The flamethrower cover. I got some underwear that fire can't burn.
I don't know about that. They might be flammable.
You get them old Walmart, them discount bloomers down there, them old used high mileage drawers down there. Hell will burn them things off you.
Okay. Come back. Diaclin says, God's mind being non-duality just gave me the revelation on what Psalms. Come back.
I got you.
On what Psalm 139:12 means. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. Yes, Diaclin. Yes. Talk to us and let us know what you think about what we're saying. Oh my God, it's good to us. You know, it's good to us if we get to laughing about our own stuff.
I'm gonna close up the book. My God.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good to know that hell cannot hold.
Yeah.
That old song said that we used to sing in church. Said, "Can't no grave hold my body down. Can't no grave hold my body down. When that first or last trumpet sound, I'm coming out of the ground. Can't no grave hold my body down."
But look, I'm not in the ground. So I don't care how much that trumpet blow. I'm not gonna be in the ground.
Oh, glory be to God. I'll tell you this stuff. I feel it in my feet down to my toes. And if I wore pantyhose, it would be in my pantyhose to my toes. I can't take no more of it. I want to cut a step. Okay. What
Jill,
I'm gone, boy.
Yes, you go.
I went on up there.
Jill says, believing that we're individuals and separated from God is hell.
That's right.
That's it.
That's what I'm telling you, girl.
That's it.
That's what I'm telling you.
And see, the thing is, the distractions of this life, the different situations that we encounter and are presented to us, cause us to be distracted and to forget. We have this what I call it's a person reflex. We end up like a rubber band. And we run right back into that separation mindset. But nothing has actually changed except my attention has gone right back to being separated.
There's another song that come out and said, "I've been running for Jesus a long time and I'm not tired yet."
Well, you got a whole bunch
I've been running for Jesus a long time and I'm not tired yet. Then it goes on in, "I'm not tired, I'm not tired, I'm not tired yet." Hot dog, God Almighty, I ain't tired. Can't no grave hold me down, and I'm running this thing. I'm running it all the way to the end. If there's an end, I'm going to start another beginning.
And at this moment, you have no ear problems.
Well, I done went on past it.
You took your attention away from it.
I felt more as I'm talking to you. I feel my ear just plug up completely right
and
there.
And you had to ignore
But I had to go on the distance, running this mile.
There you go.
I'm walking in the footsteps of Jesus Christ.
That's the way you do. And my hands hurt the whole time, and I had to take my attention away from it.
That's the truth.
Because I'm not going to make my bed in hell.
That's the truth.
We're not going to make our beds in hell.
Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all got something out of all this.
But if you do,
I hope you got something out of
this. You're still there.
I'm telling you the truth. There's something cooking in the kitchen, and it smells like something from heaven. We got the heavenly bread.
Oh gosh, now you're cooking.
We got the heavenly
Now
fragrance.
you're cooking.
We got the heavenly unction and the function. We got the heavenly road to travel, and our feet are designed for every step we make.
Yes.
Can't go too fast, can't go too slow, because God got so much for us that we don't even ask for more. Don't even ask for 1, 2, or 3 more chances. The chances are, and we took every last one of them when we decided to wake up to our divine essence. Nothing in this world can rob you of your essence. If it looks like it does, you can call up. You got a divine red hot telephone line inside your soul that'll tell everything that's trying to hold you back. Get out the way, because I'm coming through fully loaded with the function of oneness with God. Hallelujah. That's the office of Jesus Christ.
People all over the world, join hands.
Join hands.
Join the love train.
Love train.
Love train.
Love train.
People all over the world,
love train.
join hands.
Join hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Join
the
the love
train.
Love train.
Love train.
We're gonna go on the road.
We done had a little shot of holy heavenly Jack Daniel. It's called JC Daniel. We drinking JC Daniel.
JC juice.
JC juice. We're juiced up with the JC 50 proof moonshine heavenly host.
Now listen here.
Okay,
You guys,
listen,
it's time to give. We want you to give, and we know that you have it to give. You can give out of your abundance. When you give, you are saying, I have an abundance to give.
Yes, please.
And we thank you for all of the support that you have given to us. And we thank you for your thinking about us and honoring us with your substance.
Put something in the pot.
Thank you so much. So if you desire to give today at this moment, and right now is the best time to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And also right now is the best time to like and share.
Yes.
And subscribe if you're on YouTube. This is the best time to do that. If you decide to use our website, that's thecornerstonelifecenter.com, or you can text it to CLC, I can't talk, CLC Greensboro to 73256, or you can do paypal.me/cornerstone35. And if you want to, you can mail it, and Laverne will make sure that we get it when it reaches the post office box. That's P.O. Box 36259, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27416. And if you want to just bless Pastor and I, if you think we blessed you with the things that we've said, then we appreciate that you send us something in Cash App. That's $A Sawyer C.
Yes.
Or you can do it by paypal.me/ACE Sawyer 72.
And you know what? What we've talked about this morning, this afternoon, is the mother lode of gold. I consider this has been a good one for us today. I mean, all of them good
to me and you,
but it's good to us.
Yeah.
And that gold that's in what we've been saying is worth more than its weight in gold. That's the way I see it. It is more valuable than anything that we could have said.
It is.
I want you guys to respond to it with a positive state of clarity to let us know that you are on the same pocket of gold that we're in. Thank you very much for that peace. Thank you for that gold. Thank you for that gift.
We're going to take off here. We love you guys. We'll see you again on Tuesday at 7:30. And Pastor Norm will be back in town on Thursday. We'll be with him at 12:30 for impromptu. And we look forward to seeing you.
Hey, there's another song that said, I got a friend indeed I have, and Jesus is his name.
I don't remember that
song. Yeah, that's an old gospel.
Oh, it is very old. Did you make that up?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's Jesus is my friend. I got a friend, and Jesus is his name.
Oh, okay.
A friend that'll never change.
Okay.
That's right. I heard that. As a little boy, I heard that.
I don't know if anybody else has heard that.
Yeah.
But
Jesus is a friend. I got a friend.
Is that what it is?
A friend that'll never change.
A friend that'll never change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna
So
pull that song up for you in a minute.
I don't believe it. So anyway, we're gone, guys.